Hey guys, Rich here, and yesterday we posted up a video about the new release, the sightings feature. It replaced the old nearby feature. We then got more news saying that Niantic is A/B testing multiple tracking systems. So some users are getting a nearby system, and some users, like myself, are getting the sighting system. So who knows what they're gonna do? Who knows which one's going to be the one they go with? Maybe we'll only ever get the sightings one. Maybe we'll get the nearby. Maybe we'll get both. Maybe we'll get a completely different one. We really don't know yet. But I did figure out a few things today while playing, while researching. It's kind of part of my favorite thing about video games, any games, is going deeper into some of the stuff. I don't really do a lot of math, not a big math guy, but I certainly do a lot of reading and research. So the first things I want to share with you guys is some notes that came out of Reddit, basically explaining something that I didn't even realize. But if you look on the game itself, there's a circle around your player, and it constantly scans around you. And then it actually pulses, and there's a secondary scan right after that. So people on Reddit said that they pulled from the game that is approximately, I believe, 60 or 70 meters. I think it's about 70 meters. That's actually not 100% certain. It's more of an estimation, I believe. There's some things that are certain, there's some things that are estimated. So what I found out for certain is that when a Pokemon pops up on your screen and you actually see them, not in the sightings, but just physically there where you can click and catch them, they must be within 50 meters. So you're not going to see them unless they're within 50 meters. Now you can actually walk 20 meters away from them, up to 70 meters away from wherever they are between you and them, and that will actually remain on the map. The second you go further than 70 meters away from a Pokemon, it will drop off your vision. Another certain thing they've pulled from the game data is that first of all, recognize that even if there's multiple Rattatas or Pidgeys in your area, you will only see one on the sightings. And all it means that if it's on the sightings page, it is within 200 meters from where you are located. They believe that is a certainty. People also say, and I believe it's also released news, that the Pokemon in the top left, which also matches down here, is the closest Pokemon to you. So that's somewhat useful. You know it's within 200 meters, and I went to look up on Wikipedia and it said that the average city block is about 80 to 100 meters. So first of all, you recognize that a Pokemon is not really going to be more than 3 to 4 blocks away, probably 2 to 3 blocks away if it's on your sightings map. And I'll get to more on that later. One thing I noted that you can find somewhat useful, because someone did post a graph on how to triangulate any Pokemon in an area, but that's just not even reasonable. No one's going to triangulate anything while they're playing in the city blocks of a metro area. So we have to find more useful ways to use this. So the first thing I'm going to explain to you is how to find a Pokemon effectively if it suddenly pops up on your sightings screen. Recognize the difference that any Pokemon on your screen is within a 200 meter radii from where you're located. That's in all directions. That's not that useful. It's kind of useful as they move up to the left. You can get a sense of whether you're going closer or not, but you have nowhere to begin. Okay, so I want to explain that what happened to me today is a Lickitung popped up on my screen. Normally I haven't even been using the sightings because there's not a lot of Pokemon I have left remaining, so I don't get too excited about it. But what I noticed today, and I'll just try and explain it slowly from my experiences, when the Lickitung appeared on my screen and we had known that it's approximately 200 meter radii, I recognized the pattern it had to be in when something suddenly pops up. And I'm going to put my phone down for a second. I'm going to show you this kind of crude diagram that I drew. When a Pokemon suddenly appears, it kind of means, and I'm going to try and show you here, it's in this shape. When you walk in one direction, when you're coming from here to here, the Pokemon cannot be behind the point in a full 200 meter radii, which would be pi times 200 squared area, okay? So this is the pattern you can use to search for your Pokemon. So what I would do, if a Pokemon suddenly appeared on my sightings map, I would immediately stop walking in that direction and I would turn right or left and walk between 2 to 3 city blocks in a 90-degree angle from the way you were walking. I would then zigzag up blocks back up to the same street you were on. I would go from here over, up, to get to that point right there. And then I would go, if I still hadn't found it, I would go over, in, and then I would return to the original location. So that would be like 3 blocks on diagonals. Then I would check these locations here. But if you think about it, and you think about a 70-meter radius, which I'll just draw in right now, you really don't have, this is not to scale, guys, this is an estimation. You really don't have to go far. Once it's on your sightings map and it happens suddenly, it's quite easy. The Pokemon for me was 1 block in and 1 block down, or maybe 2 blocks in and 1 block down. Yes, it was 2 blocks in and 1 block down. So that's just kind of a useful way that you can use the sightings feature as it is now if you don't have the alternate version. And if this happens to be the version we go with, going forward, then this technique I just showed you may be useful. All right, guys, that's the end of today's video. I will see you next time.